Please welcome to the stage Dan McLaughlin, Senior Vice President and Director of Community Relations at D.A. Davidson Companies.
And their stewardship, and they're overseeing the students who can symbolically be the ocean life and the water in the ocean. So it's a big project for them. There's on the ocean, there's low tides and there's high tides. And the low tides are always fun for the beachcombers because they can go out and they can try to find the treasures that have been washed up perhaps the night before and deposited on the beach. And then the high tides come back and take it away. One thing I did want to mention, there's like 1 million species of sea life out there that are recognized and identified, and 9 million species the scientists think are still out there that have not been recognized. So kind of like being a teacher, it's the new personality every day that you're working with, and then there's always a new opportunity or challenge. On the beach, you can find these treasures, and I always like looking for agates, and they're very small, and they're very simplistic, they're translucent, but they're always fun to work with, and it kind of pushes the imagination about how it got to where it is. Now, the smaller the agate is, the older it probably is because it's been washed around. In addition to agates or other things you find on the beach, you may find a starfish or two. And the starfish is very, very slow moving and stays on the rocks and reaches out all the time, but uses that rock as a guidance system for them to develop them in their a safe place or a safe haven for them, and tend to depend on those rocks for encouragement. Also in the ocean, there's high tides, and the high tides come in every 12 and a half hours. They have a way, especially during big storms, that they'll just batter the rocks. They'll just beat up on the rocks, and they'll wash ashore a bunch of stuff, but they can be very challenging for those rocks to wear down those rocks. And again, symbolically, like being a teacher, you have those days where you've been a little bit battered. Every once in a while, something very large will wash up on the shore, but it won't go back into the ocean because it's been washed up so far. Kind of like a big log that's up there, but it still has a purpose or usefulness while it's on the shore. You can use the log for shelter with the winds, or you can use it as some kind of campfire or even a comfortable place to sit. But there is a usefulness for those big things that get washed up on the shore. There's also sea life that gets washed up on the shore, and if you're walking the beaches, you find maybe a piece of sea life that really needs to go back into the ocean to continue that stimulation in their life and to learn more about their environment. But they just need a little bit extra help from the beachcombers, so the beachcombers will grab that and throw it back at the ocean and really extend that life, as opposed to waiting about 12 and a half hours for a large, the incoming ocean to take it back out to sea. There's over millions of years, there's been a lot of oceans that have gone away. They're no longer there. But they leave these monuments that are out there all around our world. And again, the big rock that has been dedicated towards working with the sea life, but is now out there alone. But they are a monument of the testament of how education evolves and how they've helped with education. All good teachers, all great teachers understand and understood that not one size fits all. And so you have to be able to be versatile and adjust your approach to the students to be able to help fit their needs that are out there for their education process. So again, it doesn't always work where one size fits all, but you can work with those individuals who need that extra help. There's always the humorous and maybe the not so humorous part of the ocean that comes out, and there's those porcupine fish, and there's that clownfish, which I think I was known as a clownfish in high school, and the sharks, and there's the great big gentle whales and the graceful dolphins. But I think as you learn as educators to work with those that have a different approach to life, and maybe the class clown or something like that, and incorporate that into your teaching methods, then you're gonna be helping a lot of people. The ocean's also filled with a lot of different personalities, but those different personalities have been able to learn from each other and work with each other and understand each other. And effectively what that does with those different personalities out there working and understanding each other, it tends to bring a lot more harmony and balance to the world. So it's very important to encourage that. You always have the students who just kind of grasp onto the whole education process, and they do all the work. They're just not they're not troubling in class. They're always on top of things, and they become kind of the walking angels of what every teacher would dream about, transform into walking angels in life. But really, the influence they've helped themselves along and worked with the teachers in the whole process. You'll always have students that are going to decide to take a different direction in life. And they may split off from where you look and you're trying to bring them along, but they just have in their own mind that they're going to take a different direction in life and go a different way. Hopefully you'll plant a seed with that student to down the road when they decide to maybe get back on the path that you had envisioned for them, to come back and they'll remember you as a teacher that got them on that path. Lastly, down at the ocean, you always have great sunsets. On the Oregon coast, it depends if it's raining or not, but when you have a beautiful sunset, it is really beautiful. Shines over those great rocks who have been educating all these, taking care of all the sea life and these students and everything else. Which is really a testament to just great learning educators out there, but also the important part of the sunset that there's always going to be, we believe there's always going to be a new tomorrow, and graduation is really that spark at the end of the sunset for those graduates. Thank you.